An interesting study shows that long running may help you live 5.6 years longer than sprinting does. The study was done on Olympic athletes, and it was pretty impressive when it appeared in 2017. Of course, that means I'll absolutely contradict it in a few minutes. But first, I'll take you through other differences between sprinting versus running so you can understand how each running style changes your body. Let's begin with muscle fibers activated. When you sprint, your body relies heavily on fast-twitch muscle fibers, which are designed for short bursts of explosive force. These fibers generate a lot of power quickly but fatigue faster. Sprinting is an anaerobic activity, meaning it doesn't rely on oxygen as an energy source. That's why it's perfect for short, high-intensity efforts. On the other hand, long-distance running, or long running as it's sometimes called, activates slow-twitch muscle fibers, which are built for endurance. Slow-twitch fibers don't produce much power, but they can contract for longer periods. That means they don't tire easily, so they allow sustained activities like jogging or marathon running. Basically, sprinting works out your explosive force, while long running is great for endurance. Now let's look at the second point of difference, meaning fat loss and body composition. When it comes to body composition, the differences are stark. Endurance runners, who cover long distances, tend to be leaner because jogging over long distances increases energy expenditure. Marathon runners have a low body fat percentage, and their lean legs are a result of hours of continuous running. Being lighter also reduces the strain on joints over long periods. Besides, they use the aerobic energy system, which uses a mix of body fat and glucose as energy. That's why jogging helps you stay lean and have a low body fat percentage. Sprinting, however, leads to a bulkier, more muscular physique. Because sprint runners only run for short distances, weight isn't as much of a concern, so they focus more on training their explosive power. As I explained a few seconds ago, sprinting recruits those fast-twitch muscle fibers. So the more fast-twitch muscle fibers you have, and the stronger they are, the faster you can run. That's why you also need to spend time in the gym building strength with hypertrophy workouts. Sprint training alone doesn't get you bulky. Studies show that sprinters and long-distance runners have similar percentages of body fat. But more interestingly, older sprinters have a lower body fat percentage. And that's only because they in fact have a higher muscle mass percentage because that's what they've trained for. That leads us to point 3, body shape. Sprinting builds an overall more muscular body. If you look at sprint runners, you'll notice they have broad shoulders, strong arms, and a well-developed upper body. They need this upper body force production to get an explosive start and to maintain speed. In contrast, endurance runners have a leaner body shape. Their training emphasizes efficiency and stamina, so muscle mass is kept to a minimum, and they focus more on lower body muscles. This allows them to conserve energy over longer distances. So, if your goal is to look lean, go for long running. If you want to look bulky and strong, sprinting might just be the better option. But your type of running doesn't just influence how you look. It also leads to cardiovascular changes that differ between sprinting and jogging. Sprinting pushes your heart rate into the anaerobic zone, meaning you're operating at near maximum effort for short bursts. This can increase the size of the heart's left ventricle, leading to better pumping capacity over time. While sprinting doesn't have as strong an effect on endurance, it does improve heart strength and efficiency. Jogging or distance running, however, focuses more on the aerobic zone, where your heart rate is elevated but sustainable over longer periods. Long-distance runners often have a larger right ventricle, which pumps blood more efficiently to the lungs. Endurance running also helps lower resting heart rates, blood pressure, and can increase blood vessel size and volume, promoting better circulation. And, of course, you can notice different respiratory changes. When sprinting, you're often gasping for air after just a few seconds because your body is consuming oxygen at a rapid pace without enough time to recover. This can improve your VO2 max, or the maximum oxygen your body can use during exercise. Sprinting helps increase your lung capacity, but it's the explosive nature of sprinting that makes you feel like you're out of breath. In contrast, long running gradually builds your lung capacity by encouraging deep, steady breaths over long periods. Distance running strengthens the respiratory muscles and helps your body use oxygen more efficiently. Over time, long-distance runners develop better endurance and lung capacity compared to sprinters. Studies show interesting differences in terms of metabolic rate. Both sprinting and long-distance runners maintain high levels of insulin sensitivity and optimal glucose metabolism throughout their lives, regardless of age. This is important for preventing conditions like diabetes because insulin sensitivity helps your body manage blood sugar more efficiently. However, sprinting leads to a slight increase in fasting glucose levels compared to endurance athletes, though sprinters still have better overall metabolic health than sedentary individuals. This means endurance runners tend to have a more favorable lipid profile, which may explain why they have a lower relative risk of diabetes compared to sprinters. This difference in fasting glucose levels might be caused by the different energy systems engaged during sprinting and jogging. However, both groups avoid the sharp decline in insulin sensitivity seen in sedentary individuals. Now let's talk about another important aspect: bone density. Studies show that sprinters have higher bone mineral density than endurance athletes. This is largely because sprinting involves higher impact forces, which stimulate bone growth. The repeated explosive force from sprinting strengthens bones in the legs, hips, and spine. Interestingly, sprinters tend to have higher bone density even at non-weight-bearing sites like the arms. Long-distance runners benefit from the weight-bearing exercise of running, but they see a lot of ambiguous results in bone density. That's because the prolonged, lower-intensity nature of jogging doesn't create as much stimulus for bone growth. On the other hand, sprinting increases the risk of injuries, especially tendinitis. With that in mind, let's focus on the other effects your running type has on your life. Both sprinting and long running have profound effects on your mood and sleep. Sprinting can lead to greater releases of endorphins, which contribute to that euphoric feeling known as the runner's high. Since sprinting is more intense but shorter, it leaves you feeling energized after your workout. This high intensity promotes better sleep quality as well. Endurance running, on the other hand, can be meditative and helps lower levels of stress hormones like cortisol. It's great for mental health and mood regulation. Some studies suggest that marathon runners and endurance athletes tend to have a longer lifespan compared to sprinters. The one I mentioned in the intro actually states that Olympic sprinters live 5.6 years less than endurance runners. However, there are several flaws in this conclusion. First, it focuses on Olympic athletes from 1928 to 1948, which makes it less relevant today as sports science, training methods, and healthcare have advanced dramatically since then. Additionally, the study doesn't account for modern developments in cardiovascular care, sports nutrition, or injury prevention, all of which significantly affect longevity. A more recent study from 2023, for example, shows little difference in longevity between sprinters and long-distance runners. The study notes that both groups benefit from cardiovascular and metabolic adaptations that improve health and lifespan. This includes adaptations like enhanced insulin sensitivity, lung capacity, and heart function, which contribute to longer lives. Besides, sprinters experience higher bone mineral density, which lowers their risk for osteoporosis and fractures later in life. Therefore, the longevity difference suggested by Lee Heidenreich's study may be exaggerated and outdated when applied to today's context. So, which is better, sprinting or long running? It depends on your goals. If you want explosive power, better muscle growth, and stronger bones, sprinting is the way to go. But if you're looking for a leaner body, better endurance, and a meditative, heart-healthy routine, long-distance running might be more your style. Either way, both have powerful benefits that can help you lead a healthier, more active life. You can even combine both running styles if you practice fartlek training, on which I have a separate video you can watch. So, if you feel like you've learned something new today, please hit the like button and subscribe to the Fitness D channel to help me make more science-backed clips just like this. Now, let's move the talk to the comments. Start by telling me which running style you prefer and why. I'll be watching and replying.